Welcome to the 79th episode of the Balanced Business Podcast. We got Larissa, Justine, and Nico here. Team, how are we doing today?
We're thriving. Life is good.
Yeah, thriving, caffeinated. We're feeling good.
Yeah. Can never be super sad on a Friday and having coffee. So, Justine, what are we talking about today besides coffee and good times?
Today we are talking about how to handle a lower quality lead, what to do with a lead that, is in different stages of the sales funnel, and yeah, just kind of how we handle a lower quality lead. So, which one do we want to talk about first?
Well, let me give a little context, right, for low quality leads. If you listen to episode 78 of our podcast, we talked a lot about lead quality and how to track those pieces. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that episode. But in this particular one, we're going to talk about what to do with low quality leads. They come in, you've already determined they are not a good fit for one reason or another. Now, there's a few reasons a lead might not be quality. Now, keep in mind, this is all going to change for your business, for your individual situation. We're going to give metrics for lead quality that relate more specifically to the landscaping and home improvement space. However, for your business, this may look a little bit different. So keep that in mind that what we're saying might not match up. However, you can apply a lot of the concepts anyway. So for the average landscaper or home service provider, there's a few things that would make a lead bad quality. One would be out of territory, meaning you work in Phoenix and this lead is in San Diego. You cannot get to them to fulfill the service. It is not worth your time to continue pursuing them. So those are bad quality leads. The second one would be if they don't have the budget. How do you deal with leads who they come in and they have, a shoestring budget, but they want a whole backyard redesign? Well, it's probably not going to happen, is the realistic answer for the lead if they come in and they say, I have $2. And you're like, well, good luck. But, how do you deal with those leads? As well as how do you deal with leads who are maybe just looking, just kind of trying to feel out what the environment is and what providers might exist out there, and they're not 100% sure if they actually want to purchase a product. And then the final low quality lead would be one that you can just never get in touch with. So, Nico, I don't know if you have any tips on how to deal with leads who are out of territory, if we want to start there.
Yeah, we can start there for sure. So it's really important because every time that you do anything for your business, there's a cost associated with it, right? So anyone who's out of territory needs to be kind of looked at through a couple of lenses, and I recommend setting up systems for this because people are going to come to you out of territory, whether it's one zip code or a town or a state away. That's going to happen. So what do you do with it? One, well, for me as a business owner, I'm looking at how do I monetize that. So there's a couple of things that you can do. One, let's say it's a couple of zip codes or a city away. You could find someone local to that area that does the work that you do at the quality that is acceptable to you to go and fulfill that job. So basically, you subcontract them out. Your company's still doing the job, still getting the money and then paying it out to a subcontractor. Two, you can actually sell that lead. You can take that lead and, again, everything in your business is value to it. So if they're looking to build a swimming pool for $80,000, is it unreasonable for you to sell that intro for $150 or $100? Probably not, which is nice because it's another form of revenue that would have been wasted in your company. Now, let's say that it's a couple states over and it's someone that you really want to work with, but there's no subcontractor and you don't know anyone in the area that can take it, but you're still interested. At that point, you have to decide if it's worth your time to go out there and bring out a crew to do. Now, if it's a couple zip codes away, maybe it is, but if it's a different state or county away, maybe not. So at that point, you have to figure out a way to, unfortunately, and again, systems help with this, let them go. Refer them to someone else, or if you know them, or just say we're not a great fit. But it's okay to, at that point, if it's more trouble than it's worth, to just let that lead go. You can go into the next couple. So the one that I actually have been thinking a lot more about is leads that come in and they're shopping around, but they don't have a really firm grasp on exactly what they're looking for. Now, that's going to happen probably more than you would like it to, but again, especially if you're designing your dream backyard, you might have a vision in your mind, and putting it on paper or drawing it out or even seeing it is kind of hard to bridge. So my recommendation is don't be afraid to bring up the pricing thing, because I might want a fireplace and a backyard grill and a pool, but I have a $20,000 budget when a pool is going to be way more than 20. So don't be afraid to ask what the budget is and help them work inside of that. You're a consultant then, but you want to do consultative sales where if you only have 20 grand to spend, you might not be able to do the whole project, maybe only phase 1, 2, or 3. So that's what I like to do with people who are kind of shopping around, is I like to assign a value to the project. And if they feel uncomfortable, that makes sense. I would just then bring it up to them and say, listen, it's very hard for me to help if I don't know. And I would make a joke, right? Your project might cost $1 or might cost $100,000. We don't know. And I can't refer a plan and an action steps without knowing that. So that's what I like to do with people who are shopping around. And again, they might say, okay, you know what, this is too much. I don't want to commit to it. I'm not interested. That's okay. Not every lead is created equal. So at that point, you can let them go and set them up in your automated follow-ups for next 2 months, 3 months, a year, when they might be have more funds, have more of a concrete idea of what they want.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
What was that third one? Because I'm so fixated on like the ghosting one, because there's so many tips and tricks for that.
So we covered territory and leads who are just shopping around. How do we handle leads who don't have enough budget? Who don't have enough budget, realistically, let's just say in this scenario, to do anything that your team would install. It's too small of a project for you to consider taking on.
Yeah, so at that point, I would recommend, again, and again, this might sound controversial, but if they are dead set on doing this project, they just don't have the budget to hire us to do it, what I would do is I wouldn't refer them out to someone at that point, because you don't want low quality work that's going to taint your reputation for referring bad quality work. So I wouldn't do that. I would go the Home Depot route or the Lowe's route and say, listen, if you really want to do this project, it's going to take you 100 hours, and materials alone is going to cost you $5,000. If that's still too much for them, I would then recommend, hey, listen, let's not do it right now. Let's wait until we have more budget for it. But if they want to do it at that point, I would just be candid with them. It's going to take you 100 hours, $5,000 material, most likely. You're going to have to rent all this stuff. Have fun. And then maybe move into more of a consultative role and say, listen, we can help and get all the materials for you, so you don't have to go incrementally shop. It's going to cost you $5,000. We'll charge you $500 on top of that for our time in there. And again, you can still monetize that, but usually at that point, you don't want to do anything for free, because you don't want to undersell yourself and your expertise. Now, it might take you 5 minutes to jump in the computer, order the materials from your supplier, and get it shipped over. So with the estimate, the time, and whatnot, you could still make a little bit of a profit on that deal. And we all know that most likely when they start the project, they'll get overwhelmed, because it's not easy to install artificial turf or build a fireplace or cut trees. There's skills in it, just like anything else. And then the last one is, what do you do if someone's ghosting you, they're not hearing out? Now, there's a couple of tricks. Let's say that you communicate exclusively with your leads on email. Have you tried calling them? Have you tried texting them? Right? That might be a very simple way for you to get in contact. If they're not responding at 9 a.m. calls, maybe call at 8:30 or 7:30, because they might be at work. Right? Try to vary those together. If you're just sending question SMSs, maybe send a backyard project or a Facebook post that you just completed with someone. Show that social proof. Then there's sneaky ways to do it. Your phone has this little trick where you do *67 in the person's number, then it shows up as an unknown caller. So you can actually do that. And I've done that a couple times. Or if you have a work phone, call from your personal number, because there's different numbers they might have associated with you. And again, they are in your pipeline for a reason. You didn't go and beg them to reach out to you. you're here to help them solve a problem, which is designing a backyard of their dreams in this case. So don't feel bad about doing that. Also, if you know their home address, then you could do the flyer route, or you could go door knock and like, hey, Jen, thank you so much for filling out the form. I was in the neighborhood and I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm really excited when you're ready to move forward with that. And then, again, another controversial one is the soft close, which means, hey, this might not be a priority for you right now. I don't want to waste your time. I'll cease communications for now. And usually when you take something away from someone, then magically they respond back. So there's a couple of ways that really take no additional time or energy to get someone who's been ghosting you back into the pipeline.
Yeah, I think that covers it nicely. I don't have anything to add. Those are really great ways to manage leads that might be lower quality. And again, if you are thinking like, okay, great, I have these problems, I deal with these leads all the time, your first step is going to be go back and track all your data, figure out where those low quality leads are coming from, and you can make adjustments from there.
Yeah, awesome. I agree. I think that covered everything.
Well, amazing. If you guys need any other tips or tricks on follow-ups with any of the lead qualities that we have, or I'm thinking about it now, Tim, we should put up a nice little follow-up cheat sheet that someone can use. But we'll discuss that internally. You guys have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you next episode. Peace.